Hello, Blazers. Welcome to episode 159 of UAB Green and Told, originally released on Monday, September 22nd, 2025. This podcast brings you the voices and stories that define the UAB experience. Explore past episodes of UAB's most listened to podcast at alumni.uab.edu/greenandtold on Spotify or the Apple Podcast app. And while there, leave a written review to help more alums tune in. I'm Greg Berry, a UAB alum and Director of Communications in the Office of Alumni Affairs. Today's podcast guest is a scholar, a standout, and a self-starter who's been ahead of the curve her entire life. From hitting the books before hitting the brakes to graduating before most even declare a major, Destiny Nelson Miles is anything but ordinary. And as she'll share, her craving for curiosity didn't just lead her to answers, it led her to advocates, advisors, and academic achievement.
She was very integral in my success throughout high school. She really set the plan from when I was in ninth grade all the way until I graduated. We kind of worked together throughout that whole process.
And the plan, as we'll learn, it wasn't just a roadmap. It was a runway that launched her into college classrooms while most of her peers were still in high school.
I was 14, 15, taking classes with people who were 18, 19, 20 years old. So I was accustomed to being the youngest in those settings.
By 19, while others were just getting their feet wet, Destiny was crossing the finish line, capping off a journey that started years ahead of schedule.
In college, I actually had the chance to come to terms with the fact that I am graduating early. I actually did accomplish my goal, and I'm about to walk across the stage.
Destiny Nelson Miles is a dynamic and determined young alum whose educational journey is nothing short of extraordinary. A proud product of Birmingham's Woodlawn community, Destiny displayed a curious mind and a commitment to excellence at an early age. With the steady support of a steadfast advisor and her own relentless resolve, she charted a course for success starting in the ninth grade. That blueprint didn't just lead her to college, it launched her into history. At just 19 years old, Destiny graduated from UAB, becoming the first ever Birmingham Promise Scholar to cross the stage. Her story is powerful proof that preparation fuels purpose.
I grew up here in Birmingham, in the Woodlawn community, actually. So I went to Woodlawn High School. I was part of the early college program there, where students have the chance to get college credits before they graduate from high school. So I did that program at Woodlawn, and then I graduated in 2021, and then went to UAB for my bachelor's.
What were you like as a kid? Because from what I can kind of gather, you're pretty studious. Academics almost probably became first, didn't it?
Always. Academics was at the top of my list for me developing. But as a kid, I loved a lot of different things. I loved being outside. I was very nature oriented. I worked at the Jones Valley Teaching Farm. They have a site at Woodlawn. So I worked at the Jones Valley Teaching Farm site for a bit of my high school career. I loved learning. So any opportunity that I got to learn, I tried to learn. Different organizations in school, a part of different, you can say a part of like different sports teams as a manager. So I would just try to learn and explore as much as possible.
What was it about academics that kind of drew you that way and made you really focus on the future?
For me, academics was, for me, I'm very curious. Like, I'm curious in nature. So if I have a question, I want to find the answer, want to understand why something is some way. So just being curious at my core. And then academics was one way to really learn about the world. You can learn history, you can learn how things operate, you can learn basically anything that's going on in your environment just by exploring academics.
What is it about curiosity? Where'd that come from?
I guess I was just born with it, from my understanding. As a child, I would always ask my siblings or my mom why something is a way, or why did they do this, or how did they do this? Really about anything. I learned how to cook at a very young age. I was just very curious in nature. I don't know how to explain it. It was just something that kind of was ingrained in me.
You really set yourself up for college in high school. You earned 69 college credits by the time you left Woodlawn. What was that like? I mean, it had to have been a very arduous task.
Yes, it was very it was a lot of hard work that went into it. A lot of planning as well. The early college coordinator at the time, Dr. Dana Marshall, she was very integral in my success throughout high school. She really set the plan from when I was in ninth grade all the way until I graduated. We kind of worked together throughout that whole process to really ensure that I achieved my goal, but also it's something that I wanted to do as well. So she was definitely very important in my development.
Do you remember that first college credit course that you had in high school? What was it?
I think it was like English Composition 1. When we took it, it was initially at the high school, and then we transferred to actually going on campus the next semester to kind of give us a little bit of a transition period from being, young students to actually being on a college campus. So that first college course at the high school, I was just, wow, like this is a lot, but it's pretty interesting. I got to learn a lot in that college course.
Which was your favorite pre-college college course that you had?
Hmm. It would have to be between my African American studies class and my personal finance class. I think for me, the African American studies class, it definitely dived a little bit deeper into the African American culture here in America, but also abroad as well. So that was interesting to learn about the dynamics with that. And then personal finance specifically because I was interested in finance. So kind of getting that understanding of how I can apply what I'm learning in school to my personal life. I think that was interesting.
In a little bit, we're going to talk about that interest into finance. But first, I want to talk about the Birmingham Promise Scholar. Talk a little bit about that program and how you got involved in that to lay the foundation to attend UAB.
Initially, I was a part of the Birmingham Promise apprenticeship as a junior in high school. I worked in partnership with Jones Valley Teaching Farm through the Birmingham Promise apprenticeship to get a little bit more work experience. So that was initially how I was introduced to the program and then became a Birmingham Promise Scholar my senior year because I was going into higher education. Through that program, I got like a lot of mentoring and a lot of support as far as my professional development, I would say.
How many of your friends took part in that? Did any of them?
A few, but not as many as I would hope now, as many seniors I would hope now are taking advantage of the opportunity. It was a new program. COVID had just hit, so a lot of things were shaky. So I don't think as many seniors took advantage of it during my time, but I hope a lot of seniors are taking advantage of it.
It was a new program, and it ultimately led you to UAB, where you came in as a junior academically. Here you are, probably the youngest junior in most of your classes, if not all of your classes. How were you received? What was it like?
I was accustomed to being the youngest in my college classes because, as I mentioned, I was a freshman on a college campus. So I was 14, 15, taking classes with people who were 18, 19, 20 years old. So I was accustomed to being the youngest in those settings, but it was not challenging on that aspect. It was more so trying to develop as fast as I could because, as I mentioned, some of these other students, they had, 2 years ahead of me that they experienced the college life to its core. And I kind of had to fast track myself to be up to speed to where I was.
That had to have been intimidating, being in the classroom when you were 14 and 15, even before you were fully enrolled in college. What was that like? Were you ever like, oh my gosh, I don't belong here?
It wasn't a sense of belonging. It was more so a sense of how do I navigate this? I got a lot of support from the early college program to really, buckle down on how to be a college student, but you don't know how to be a college student until you are a college student. So just getting wrapped around the fact that, yes, I'm in a college setting and there's a certain expectation that I should have for myself and others should have of me that should be aligned with where I am academically.
Did you have any mentors, any other students that you had once you were on campus that kind of took you under their wing and kind of supported you along the journey? Because you, let's face it, like we talked about, you were a young junior at the time.
Actually, I had a lot of mentors, specifically in the business school specifically. So my advisor, Tristan, he was very supportive when I came in. Definitely helped me with a lot of different obstacles that I was facing, as far as being able to pick the right internship and things of that such. So Tristan definitely was very beneficial during that process. And then also Dr. Stephanie Yates. She was very supportive in my, not only my success, but also my development. She was one of my faculty research members for one of my projects for the COLLAT School of Business. So she was definitely integral in my success as a full college student.
We hit on finance a little while ago and that you had an interest in that. Why? Where'd that come from?
I loved personal finance from what I understood in high school, and kind of explored a little bit in the personal finance course that I took. But it was really an avenue to understand really how the world works. So when you think of how the world works, I mean, everyone has some type of financial aspect of their life, whether it's personal, whether it's with a business, whether it's, just walking down the street and trying to buy some ice cream. I mean, that's a part of finance. So just learning exactly how finance flows in the world, but also a little bit deeper into how the business side of finance can impact people's lives.
Your story for UAB is totally unique from everybody else. I've talked to people that have gone somewhere else, then come to UAB. They've gone to a 2-year college and then moved in. You went from high school and spent 2 years at UAB, direct from high school. That said, what was your college experience like once you were on campus?
At first, it was very eye-opening. So in high school, we would go to campus strictly for classes only. We weren't able to be involved very extensively because we had, to go back to high school at the end of the day. So we were more so involved in high school activities than college activities. But when I fully transitioned to a college student, I had so many more opportunities to really engage with a lot of different people. And it was just eye-opening. Like, I understood how my classes schedule work and how to, go study at the library and things of that such. But to really get fully involved, I think that was something that was eye-opening for me.
You graduated when you were 19.
Yes.
Let that sink in. You were 19. You didn't even get into your 20s at that time. What was it like? What was the sense of accomplishment when you stood out on that stage to receive your diploma?
It was like I did it type of moment, because as I mentioned, I kind of had a set expectation for myself leaving high school. Like, I've already done all this work that I'm going to graduate early. I should be done by the time I'm 21, but I'm hoping I graduate early. That was my mindset leaving from high school. But then in college, I actually had the chance to come to terms with the fact that I am graduating early. I actually did accomplish my goal, and I'm about to walk across the stage and they're about to call my name. So it was like I did it type of moment.
When you crossed the stage, you became the first Birmingham Promise Scholar to graduate from UAB. So not only are you 19 and doing it, but you're first one of this program to cross. That had to have been pretty special.
It was very special for me. I didn't realize at the moment that I would have been the first. I don't think I understood that I was the first until they told me, Destiny, you're the first. I was like, oh, there was a class ahead of me. But I guess I really fast-tracked myself on that. But I was very proud of myself, I will say, to really be able to not only represent the city of Birmingham, but to represent a program that truly is focused on making sure that students in Birmingham have access to higher education. So I'm very proud.
Why was it important to graduate in 2 years, graduate when you're 19, and enter the workforce at that time?
It was more so me finishing out a goal that I had set in high school. So ensuring that I completed one of my ultimate goals to graduate, using all of my credits, all of the time that I spent in high school dedicated to graduating early to ensure that I actually accomplished that. That was one of the most important things for me. And then at the age of 19, I was like, you know, I have to do it. I mean, I didn't expect it to be as unheard of. I felt like I was just doing, what I set out to do. I didn't think it would be as impactful to everyone else to graduate at 19. It just felt like something that I had set forth for my personal goal and then to inspire others. I think that is what I'm most proud of at this moment.
What was your class load like at UAB? Were you taking the standard 5 classes per semester, or did you bulk up and take a couple more?
Actually, I did not have to take any more than 5 classes a semester. So I took 5 classes every semester. In the summer, I think I took 3 classes, and that was about it. So it was a normal college type of schedule. So I didn't have to take more than I needed or overload myself. It was very smooth.
During undergrad, you were, as we mentioned, we're going to beat a dead horse. You were younger. But kids are supposed to have fun. What did you do to kind of balance academics and just life in general?
I really enjoyed nature. So on every Saturday, I would, go on a hike at Red Mountain or go on a walk at Vulcan. That was something that was a part of my ritual, weekly ritual. But then in addition to that, I would volunteer with a lot of organizations that I was a part of. So we would go to the Humane Society. We would volunteer at the Central Alabama Food Bank. We would just volunteer everywhere and really just get a chance to decompress and feel what it feels like to not be stressed about school at that moment.
So what are you doing now? Post-college life, what are you doing today?
So I am a finance development program analyst at Regions Bank. But outside of that, I am still connected to nature, still trying to explore what it feels like to, at this time, not be stressed about work. So learning that work-life balance and really trying my best to transition into a more, a work type of environment.
With everything that you've accomplished already in your young life, where do you see yourself in 10, 15 years? What do you want to be doing?
In 10 to 15 years, I hope to be in management. What that means is to be a part of a organization, specifically as I am in banking. I'll just do it from a banking perspective. So to be a leader of a group that can be in finance, or it can be in an adjacent finance type of organization where I can lead a few analysts into producing and being very, you can say, profitability driven. So hopefully I'll be able to be in a management position, but you never know.
That's Destiny Nelson Miles, UAB's first Birmingham Promise Scholar to graduate. In 2023, she earned her undergraduate degree in finance from the COLLAT School of Business. With fresh perspective and unwavering determination, she has a true understanding of what it means to be a blazer.
For me, what it means to be a blazer is to be innovative in different approaches to how you not only live your life, but also how you impact others' lives. I think that's you could call it the umbrella phrase that I would use to be a blazer, but also at your core, being diverse. I think when I went to UAB, that was one of the most diverse settings I'd ever been in. And getting to learn different cultures and how different people think and how to approach different situations and have different perspectives. So to me, that's what it means to be a blazer.
That's it for this episode of UAB Green and Told. Want to hear more inspiring stories? Head to alumni.uab.edu/green and told or find us on Spotify and the Apple Podcast app. Know someone with a great story? Send your suggestions to greenandtold@uab.edu. And follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay connected with the Blazers. Thanks for listening, and as always, go Blazers.